Hi, I'm Michelle Begue with a look at what's happening in Latin America now. But first, our news trivia. Which Latin American country is auctioning off Ferraris, the luxury Italian sports car, to help rural communities? We'll have the answer later. Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro and former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva faced off in their first head-to-head debate since becoming the winners of the first round of presidential elections. According to the latest polls, the race is still tight, with Lula da Silva having a slight lead. If Lula wins the second round of elections, he will still need the support of Congress to advance his ambitious economic and social agenda. The final presidential runoff vote takes place on October 30th. We're going to my colleague Joel Richards in Argentina. He has more on what the effects of these elections could have in Latin America's southern cone.
If we consider for a moment that Argentina exports twice as much to Brazil as it does to China and the United States together, it's easy to appreciate the bearing Brazil's elections will have on countries in this region. Bilateral ties and exports between Brazil and Argentina are largely tied in with the regional economic bloc Mercosur. Now, there's a question mark over Mercosur's future. The free trade deal with the European Union has been put on ice directly because of Bolsonaro's environmental policy. Lula has pledged to reverse that policy and shift Brazil's international image and in turn formalise the deal with Europe. So multilateralism, but also regional politics are areas to watch. Bolsonaro mostly rejected regional initiatives and isolated Brazil from allies. He has backing from far-right politicians across the region, so a victory for him would strengthen those political projects across Latin America. Lula, meanwhile, has a close strategic ally in Argentina's President Alberto Fernandez. The two are close personal friends. And with Chile's President Gabriel Boric and Gustavo Petro in Colombia, a victory for Lula could provide the impetus for renewed regional cooperation amongst like-minded progressive leaders.
Haitian officials are asking for foreign military support to curb the crisis of gang violence, which has its country paralyzed. The United Nations has put out a grim report that states hunger in parts of Haiti is at catastrophic levels. According to the UN, thousands of people that live in the Port-au-Prince neighborhood of Cité Soleil have dangerously little access to food. With gangs fighting for control of the capital, the area has become lawless and many residents don't leave their homes. In addition to hunger, the World Health Organization has reported 16 deaths due to cholera in Haiti, as well as 32 additional confirmed cases. And check out these images of the world-famous Iguazu waterfalls on the border of Argentina and Brazil. Officials have registered 10 times the volume of water that usually flows over the falls. This comes after heavy rains pummeled the region. One of the main tourist walkways in what is known as the Devil's Throat had to be closed for safety reasons. Thankfully, the measure was taken when it was, because part of the walkway was swept away earlier this week. Officials are waiting to assess the damage and make reparations once the amount of water recedes. Now let's take a look at what stories we're following for next week. We're a few weeks away from the kickoff of football's major global event. The FIFA World Cup trophy just landed in Mexico as part of an international countdown tour. The trophy was exhibited for 6 days in 4 Mexican cities. FIFA says Mexico is one of the top 5 countries when it comes to purchasing World Cup tickets, although Mexico itself has never won the World Cup. Next stop on the trophy tour, 5-time World Cup champion Brazil, then on to Argentina, Uruguay, and Ecuador. The visit to Latin America will conclude on November 1st. The first match is scheduled for November 20th in Qatar, the first time the game has been hosted in the Middle East. And now the answer to our news trivia. The answer is C. These Ferraris once belonged to the drug lord known as Falcon, a kingpin of Colombia's drug cartel, Clan del Golfo, or the Gulf Clan. It was one of the country's largest drug trafficking operations before Falcon was extradited to the United States in July. Now his cars will be auctioned off by the Colombian government. The auction will be held online on October 24th and 25th. Proceeds from the sales will be donated to help rural workers who don't have land. And that's it for this week. We'll see you again soon on Latin America Now.